So let's move on to Young Justice Season 4. So Young Justice Season 4 premiered October 16th, 2021, the same day as DC Fandom. And episode 7 just dropped November 18th, Thursday, November 18th, 2021. So we're going to split this into two sections, guys. We're going to do a non-spoiler critique for those who have not seen Young Justice Season 4 yet or are not caught up to episode 7. And then we're going to do a spoiler side where we're going to talk about highlights in the theories for the upcoming episode. So for those listening who don't want to listen to the spoiler part, I'll do like a countdown. So be prepared to hit pause before we get into it. So first thing I want to know is, how are we feeling about Young Justice Season 4 so far? And for me, I'm enjoying it. It feels very Young Justice to me. Like Young Justice Season 1, Season 2. Seeing the sidekicks become mentors, I think that's the big thing I like about it. The sidekicks that we saw in Season 1, them growing up and now are becoming mentors for another age of younger heroes. So we see Nightwing, Robin becoming Nightwing, Artemis becoming Tigress, Aqualad becoming Aquaman and taking up those mantles. I don't know, it puts me in the feels because watching I would say that this is a show that I grew up with. My dad got me into Young Justice, but Young Justice Season 1, Season 2 came out when I was like in high school. So
Wow.
we were I grew up with these characters. So watching them grow up to be the ages that we are now and becoming mentors for the younger generation, it puts me in the feels. So
yeah, no, I totally agree.
And the other thing that I'm feeling about it right now, so right now they're exploring two different stories, and we can get into that when we get into the spoiler section. And the two stories that they are exploring haven't gelled together. I know they're about to gel together, but I would say that the two stories that they've been exploring, I have enjoyed. Like, I'm not upset that this doesn't match what's going on with this, or we've completely stepped away from this side of the story. I think they've been doing storytelling pretty well, except for this one little bit. They're trying to pull that slideshow shit again, but we'll get into that. But that's how I've been feeling about it so far. I think they might have a good run because season 3, I thoroughly dislike season 3.
Too many slides.
Too many slides.
Season 3 just had so much going on with it.
They wasted some people too.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll get into that because that's the next part of this. But for those who are watching Young Justice Season 4, because did you catch up, Ron?
I was fully intended. I intended to watch Young Justice from beginning to end, catch up and everything, and it just did not work out. It just did not work out. It's so much television out right now. It just did not work out. But I don't mind talking about spoilers.
Catch up.
Yeah.
You should definitely catch up.
I like Young Justice because it gives me that, like, I was watching seasons 1 and 2 back in high school as well. And I like it because it gives me that old school Justice League back in the day when you was watching it on Direct TV. And I am excited to see the series grow.
TV. Man, you just took me back.
You remember when it started storming and you gotta adjust the dish?
Bro, we used to put that junk on DVR and man.
And like hearing you talk about season 4, I'm not gonna lie, that does excite me because one of my favorite things of watching a series like that is seeing the characters grow into their own. So I would love to see that.
Mm-hmm. So I guess it's either Vario or McMillian. Who wants to go first?
You want to Vario?
I'm gonna go. Well, actually, I started watching them when I was in college because y'all made me feel old. I was in college when it came out. Season 4, I actually binge watched it last night, all 7 episodes last night. It was wonderful. I loved it. Man, the stories between it's just awesome. I think it's one of the best seasons. I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah, we'll see. They only gave us 7 episodes. I think it
Do
has
you
the
know how?
potential to be really good, but
Right.
I think it's going to be another 26 episode run.
Okay. All right. Cool.
26.
So,
Man.
Right.
He
Was
said
that it,
that's
Vario?
amazing.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
it for me.
Okay, I just didn't want to cut you up. So talking about Young Justice, I also started in high school. I'm a huge DC fan, specifically. Hold on, wait, my kid can't see it, but specifically the G,
that
the
man
OG,
right there.
Man!
the OG. So I remember when Young Justice first came out, and I was like, "Oh, cool! They did another sidekick series. I wonder if it's gonna be as good as Teen Titans." Totally blown away by it. The
It
first 2
exceeded.
seasons.
It
Yeah,
exceeded.
at first 2 seasons were great, had amazing storylines. Third season, while it did have a lot going on, I appreciated what it tried to bring in for the characters. And season 4 is a little bit more grounded, and I think it's really working for them.
Yeah.
And I've been loving it so far. As Folk mentioned, there's 2 plots going on right now. They're about to collide. The second plot, though, has
Boy.
my favorite sidekick for the Bat family. And
Yeah.
I am so happy. They've changed a little bit of her story, but it is the stuff they have changed. I feel like have enhanced her character in terms of like just in terms of like the story they're trying to tell, but also like it they didn't take anything away from it. And I like when they do stuff like that. When if they decide to change somebody's story, they don't. It doesn't take away from the character of who they are. And I really love what they're doing so far with the whole this origin twist that they're doing. But so far right now, Phantoms, which is what season 4 is titled, is looking to be a look back on our season 1 heroes and the trials and tribulations that they're going through as mentors. Because we got to see them take up the mentor role last season, true, like real big when they started leading their own teams. But this one is like, these are the issues though that come about them fully being in their superhero, in their like we're paragons now of the superhero world. Like we're not as big as our mentors, but we're no longer those small children.
Yeah.
And I really feel like they're doing a great job of showing everything that comes from it. So
I agree. 2 things I want to touch on from yours, McMillian, is one, I think Young Justice has always done a good job when they switch like storylines, like origins. They always do a good job of changing it, but not taking away of the central theme of the origin. Like it's changed, but I'm not mad at it. And then the way they integrate it into the stories going forward, they do a really good job of doing that. And that was one thing I appreciated about Young Justice. The second thing I wanted. Oh, what's up?
Oh, sorry, not to cut you off. I was just saying a great example of this. In a prior season, not to give any spoilers, was when they changed Beast Boy's origin. I was like, this is interesting, and it works still. Like it still works with the whole like him going into the Doom Patrol stuff and all those things like that. It doesn't really take away anything, and I really enjoyed that. So yeah.
I think the coolest thing about that, in going back, I want to say this was around season 2, was the way his origin is that he still has his parents. He was out living in Africa, and then he ends up getting the disease that only animals survive from. And then the experiments from his parents is what gave him the green skin and the ability to change into animals. But I thought it was really cool that they switched it to being Miss Martian, giving him the blood transfusion was the reason that he turned green. And I thought that was really cool.
And got shape-shifting abilities like mushrooms.
Right. I thought that was really cool. And the way that they're playing into it with Miss Martian and Beast Boy having that strong brother-sister relationship. I really like how they tied that in. That was a good example of that. The second thing I wanted to touch on was that the fact that we are not seeing a lot of the big Justice League members in the season. Like we've gotten glimpses of Martian Manhunter, Superman, and Hawkgirl, but they haven't been prominent in the series as they were when they were younger. We're seeing, like you said, we're seeing more of them deal with these issues and to make choices as adults and seeing it from their point of view. So I really like that about what we've seen so far with this season too.
Right.
So the second thing I wanted to talk about is from the episodes that we've seen, how are we feeling about it compared to when we first saw season 3? And for me, I feel like this is going to turn out better than season 3. But when season 3 first started, the first half, I'm going to put it like this. The first half of season 3 of Young Justice was great. I love what they were setting up, the characters that they were introducing, and the story that they were trying to tell. They got to the second half of the season and everything started feeling rushed. Half of the episodes started turning into Microsoft PowerPoint. And I was just like, what are we doing? And the way that it ended, it had the potential to be really good. And for me, I feel like they wasted a lot of people. I feel like they wasted Darkseid. I feel like they wasted the anti-life equation. I feel like they wasted introducing Cyborg as a character. I feel like they wasted what was the third thing? And Terra and Deathstroke. They had the chance. They were trying to introduce the Terra and Deathstroke connection with everything that was going on, but I feel like they were trying to do too much and rush too much into the second half of the season that it just did not stick the
Even
way
though
that
they
it
changed
should
it a
have.
bit, yeah.
Right. Even though they changed it a little bit, this did not stick as it should have. And I feel like they wasted a lot of characters. Especially what made me upset was that they wasted Darkseid. So at the end of season 2, you see Vandal Savage and Darkseid making this deal. And in my head, I'm like, oh shit, Darkseid? They gotta fight Darkseid? Come on. And then we get to season 3, and 1, you barely see Darkseid. He's doing everything through Granny Goodness. And then we get to the end of the season and they still don't bring up anything about Darkseid. So I feel like they wasted him. And the way that season 4 is going, I'm not sure when they're going to tie everything from season 3 back into season 4, if they're even planning to do it at all. Because the only thing that they've done to integrate season 3, and we'll get to this when we get to like the spoilers, is the thing that's going on with Beast Boy. It's the only like aftermath of season 3 that they're dealing with. So
yeah, so far. Well, him and a little bit of what is her name?
Halo.
A little bit,
because they did that like in an end credit scene.
Right.
So I don't know how they're going to tie in season 3, or if they're even planning on putting season 3 into this. So we'll see. So season 4 is really going to have to prove the second half. From this point to the end of the season is what's going to make or break season 4 for me. So what about you guys?
For me, I've been very much so enjoying it. Granted, they are really pandering to me right now with the second storyline, so I'm a little like I have more of my I guess eggs in the basket. Like I'm basically fully invested at this point, and I think that they will execute this very well. Because to me, it's feel like they're doing a much more grounded story this time than they were before. Now, granted, they are introducing more characters, somewhat like they did in season 3, but I feel like the way they're doing it is a lot different than they did in season 3. It doesn't feel, because we're not seeing like I said, the small clips we're seeing of like the big heroes, the Justice League members, is very minute. It's like very small, so there's very little. So it seems like they're not as involved, or they're involved only almost in name and likeness. It seems like, not as in like full character, somewhat like how they were in 3. So it still feels like I'm more like we're going to. To me right now, it seems like what they're doing is that for the old team members, it looks like that they're going to go through storylines focusing on each of them. Like the first one was, you could either say Miss Martian / Superboy. The second one, this one is obviously Tigress. This one is obviously Tigress. The next one, who knows?
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe Nightwing based on what's happening currently, but that could just be that's just a theory right now. But like it seems like this season. Yeah, it seems like this season though is going to be each storyline is going to take a focus on our old heroes that we got to see grow up from season 1, and then maybe at the end see a culmination of all of what they're dealing with. Because, well, I can't get into it now, but we saw some people in the first half of this season that I think are going to have some way bigger ramifications later. So
Yep. So. What about you, Vario?
What was can you say the question? What was the question y'all was talking about? I'm sorry.
How are you feeling about season 4 so far compared to season 3?
I definitely think season 4 is better than season 3. Like you said, how they did the dark side, I kind of hated it how they did that because that wasn't good. But definitely season 4 is better than season 3. I thought they was just kind of doing too much in season 3. Like all the story arcs, I don't think they was. It just didn't gel right to me. But I like how season 4 is starting. Like they got 2 different story arcs going on, and I kind of like those too, especially with the one on Mars.
Yeah.
That's all I had on it.
I was gonna say I like the lineup. So the thing that really put me in the feels about season 4 was the theme song and the lineup. Young Justice theme song is just great overall. But this theme song and the lineup. So we've seen Superboy, Miss Martian. It's Superboy, Miss Martian, Nightwing, Tigress, Rocket, who we got who was first introduced in season 1, but they didn't start doing a
like
lot
later.
with her until later. And Zatanna, they're bringing Zatanna back, and they're putting Aqualad in there. So, like McMillian was saying, we haven't seen the other characters yet, but we know they're going to fit in somewhere. But I guess for the lineup, I like the fact that they're doing the OG lineup. I'll put it like that. And that the stories are being told from them instead of kind of what they were trying to do with season 3, where they're just introducing all of these people and trying to integrate them into the story, because they were trying to do the outsiders and the dark side. It was a lot.
Yeah, to be quite honest, another thing I was upset about, and I know technically we moved on from it, but I can't shake it right now. Is so to let you guys know, I'm a huge fan. Like I said, I'm a big DC fan. But one of the things I think I like about DC a lot, and why it somewhat holds an edge for Marvel for me is I love the sidekick characters. They're all really interesting usually, and they all have interesting perspectives because it's like, man, I get to work with gods basically.
Yeah.
And we barely get to see their life unless they sometimes they make a comic book for them. Very rarely though that happens. So I was really happy when the series, that the series is out, because it shows more of what they have to deal with. In season 3, they introduced some characters I am super interested in as just a person, such as Wonder Girl. The second one, we barely get to see any of her, like, at all. And Static is back, and I was like, "Yo, this is amazing!" And he was like, what, in 4 scenes, I think, of last season. So it's like, yeah. But it seems the characters they're introducing in this season, they're using a lot of already. Like, it's kind of crazy. So
when you brought up Static, you know who I also thought about that they introduced in the season 3 and completely wasted? Black Lightning.
He was prevalent in the beginning, but yeah, it was weird.
He was prevalent in the beginning, and that's what I'm talking about. The first half of season 3 was like very well thought out, and then they got to the second half of season 3, and they
wanted to do too much.
It's like they started, that meme where they're drawing the horse, and the horse is really nice in the first half, and then they get to the back, and it looks like shit at the back. That's what Young Justice season 3 was, and and because of the second half, I feel like they wasted Black Lightning. Like
I would agree. Based on how they introduced them, definitely yes.
They threw in so many people into season 3, and I just don't think they balanced it well for how they used to do in the past, because Young Justice is such a major character ensemble type show. And for them to introduce all of these characters in season 3, which is something they've done before, but to handle it the way that they did. And I don't know if they were just trying to rush to get the rest of the season out, because Young Justice season 3 came out, I can't tell you how many years. Like, they did Young Justice season 2 and they stopped. And they took it off Cartoon Network. Nobody knew if it was coming back. And then you remember DC dropped their streaming service. And one of their big things for the streaming service was Young Justice season 3.
Justice Return.
So I don't know if it was just them trying to meet the demand that they rush the second half of the season. But I feel like season 4, I feel like they took the year that they took off for this. I think it seems like to me they sat down and really planned this out.
Mm-hmm.
It's what it's feeling like
So
to
far,
me.
yeah.
So far. So I'm hoping like the rest of the episodes, they're going to keep this same momentum and this same storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
So that's our non-spoiler critique. So we're about to get into the spoiler section. So if you have not been caught up to episode 7, if you have not been caught up to episode 7 of Young Justice, come back later, catch up, come back later, hear the discussion. So 3, 2, 1. And I did my numbers really backwards. I just saw this. But highlights. So the first highlight I want to get into is the Legion of Superheroes. And this is something that my dad brought up to me when we were talking about Young Justice. Because like I said, my dad was the one that got me into Young Justice. And to give him his props, he's the reason why I'm the Blerd I am today. He got me into the comics, the shows, the movies, the lore, etc. So big props to my pops, that rhyme, for getting me into all of this. But we were talking about Young Justice, and he mentioned the Legion of Superheroes. So in the Mars storyline, there are 3 heroes that are following Miss Martian and Superboy and Beast Boy. And it's Saturn Girl, Chameleon Boy, and Phantom Girl. The Legion of Superheroes are this futuristic superhero group. They have come back 1,000 years in the past to stop this one big thing from happening. We don't know what this one big thing is. I kind of have a theory of what it was, but they're supposed to stop this one big thing. But them showing up and following Miss Martian and Beast Boy around, because I didn't know who they were. And then my dad, we're on the phone, and he's casually like, yeah, the Legion of Superheroes showed up because, Saturn Girl and Chameleon Boy. And I was like, yeah, I know them. I know exactly. I know exactly.
The iconic flight ring. Their iconic flight ring. I said, ooh, that's okay.
Yeah. So that was one of the highlights I wanted to bring up. So now we're getting I guess I wanted to bring it up because now we're getting another futuristic hero thing. Because if you guys remember in season 2, we got Impulse. Came back from the future for the whole Blue Beetle storyline.
So yeah, but he didn't come his future isn't as far ahead as the Legions, if I'm not mistaken, because he's just he's his like 40 grandson, I think, right?
Weren't they like
he's very
like 40 or 50 something years in the future?
Mm-hmm.
So, well, it wasn't that far, but I'm just bringing up that we're getting some more futuristic characters being integrated into the storyline.
No, it's just when you mentioned it, it made me think. I'm like, would Impulse know them? But he's not that far ahead. Yeah, so.
He's not that far ahead. But other highlight that the next highlight I wanted to bring up, Superboy's death. For me, I'm still in denial. My boy not dead. He is not dead.
It wasn't on screen.
That's what I said. If it's not on screen, if I didn't see it. So this is the thing. So let's start with that philosophy. But let's talk about Artemis's death. We definitely saw that on screen, and it turned out that she was not dead. So you could, if you want to stay in denial like me and be like, I didn't see it on screen, so it didn't happen, just forget that they did show Artemis dying in season 2,
screen.
but she wasn't on screen and everything. And then she
I don't
came
know.
back.
I don't know. I feel like the way they did Wally's death, they were
I'm
very
still in
front.
denial.
He might come. I mean, that was a Speed Force type thing that happened, so
Yeah.
it's very possible that he's still alive. But the way they did it, like, at least the way they did him, they were not shy about showing it, and I feel like for Superboy they wouldn't be either. And also the Legion were there to stop something.
Right.
Exactly. So that's was one of my theories. Like if that was the one big thing that they had to come back to stop, because we don't see him, they just see like the charred body print. But they
because
really
in some, I was gonna say also another thing in some storylines of the Legion, either Supergirl or Superman or one of their descendants is always is like very high up in the Legion.
Mhm.
Right.
So it could be possible that guy, that one of their descendants sent, or future Superman, Supergirl, one of them sent them back to be like, hey, save
so and so.
save
Connor.
Superboy. Yeah.
So
So
when I saw that, when I saw it at the end, I was like, he's not dead. He's just, he's somewhere, and we're going to get him back later. But then you go to the end credit scene, and the whole end credit scene is Miss Martian crying, and I'm like, okay.
that hurt.
It hurt.
That was hard to watch.
I'm talking
I
about
was
30 seconds. The end credits for Young Justice
Man.
are a good 30 seconds, and the whole 30
Right.
seconds is dedicated at the altar where they were supposed to get married, crying. And I was like, oh my God. And it solidified it. So I'm still in denial, but they solidify it when they go into Artemis' story. The first thing that happens in Artemis' story is Nightwing. Was it Aqualad with them?
Yeah,
Nightwing,
Nightwing called her, showing up and breaking the news to her, and her and them going to the memorial, the memorial on the moon.
Yeah.
So I was like, they really killed this man off. I don't think he's dead. I got a theory for this. I don't think he's dead, but they're playing it. And when I say they're playing it really good, is this is my next highlight. Episode 7. Miss Martian showing up looking like the Antichrist. Thought that she was finna go back to the angry, destructive Miss Martian that she was in season 2. Because
I thought she was about to kill her brother. I really thought she was not about to ask questions.
For me, Miss Martian earned her flowers in season 2 for me. Because the way she went down, and when she showed up, like her hair all in the air, her eyes green, I was like, this finna get real ugly real fast. Because I know what you can do. And I was just like, I had to rewind it. Because I was like, ooh, she finna tear some shit up. But But it seems like when she found out that her brother didn't know anything about the kryptonite being in the bomb, she kind of backed down. So now she's sad, but she's on her way back to Earth. So that's where I was saying we're about to see the two storylines gel together. Because now Miss Marsh, Beast Boy's already been back on Earth. And that was the other thing that I was talking about with them kind of seeping season 3 into season 4, because basically Beast Boy has PTSD from what went down at the end of season 3. So, but that was another highlight I had. The last highlight, and this is what McMillian was waiting for, the changed origins of Orphan and Oracle. That whole sequence, cold.
Injected into my veins.
I was so scared. I was so scared that they were going to move, because when they started like doing the flashes, so it goes black and then it comes back, and then I was scared that they were going to turn this into like the slideshow thing that they were doing.
If they had done that,
that was going to piss me off.
You have no idea how fast I would have turned off by the.
That was going to piss me off. They did the slideshow thing, but they milked
fully
that
animated
hoe. They milked that hoe fully animated, they dragged out the emotions.
Oh my
And when
God.
she slashed Barbara, I was like, "Oh my God!"
Can we do a deep dive into that real quick? Just for me. Just for me.
Let's go.
Okay. When Oracle is in the middle of this episode explaining to Tiger, she was like, ever since we lost Jason, the Bat family has been on high edge. So if you need us to come, we will. And I'm in my head, I'm like, okay, Orphan. While I understand that, I was like, in the comics, Oracle and them don't really have that tight of a connection, at least from what I saw. So I was like, why is Barbara so concerned with Cassandra? And then we get to the backstory. And Orphan, and we see that Cassandra was sent on a mission by her mother to kill Joker after the Joker was trying to get some revenge on Vandal Savage. And she almost killed, and instead of Barbara letting the Joker be killed by Cassandra, she jumps in the way of the blade, and it's like, I'm not trying to save Joker. I'm trying to save you. I was like,
wow,
this is perfect.
And I like the way they switched the connection, because in the comics, Orphan is more closer to Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And than the rest of the Bat family. The second thing is that I do like that, and it kind of is. I think they're doing it because they're trying to play into the League of the Shadows story that they're doing alongside this too. But Orphan was originally raised by her dad, and she, barely interacted with Lady Shiva. But it seemed like in this storyline, Lady Shiva fully raised her up to be the assassin.
Yeah, it's very evident by that too, because her name in the show is her mother's last name, and while in the comics it's her father's.
Yep.
Cassandra Cain, and they changed it in this to Cassandra Rusan, Lady Shiva's last name. Right. And as a Batman fan, Bat family fan, this is golden to me. Not only because of just this instance, because she's my favorite sidekick that Bruce has had. One, because she is just so drastically different from all the other ones, and two, she does not play when it comes to her fighting skills. Top tier. Bruce has even said that she could if he had to choose based on just fighting skill alone, that she would probably be the next Bat, head Bat. But besides that, the fact that they're milking Damian and Jason in such an interesting way is really good. The fact that Jason is back and he is a bodyguard to Talia and Talia and Damian is crazy to me. And the fact that they're now back on the island is so the things that this could lead to. Because like I said, I have a theory that Nightwing is the next person, specifically because I think he's going to be dealing with trying to get Jason back. Because I feel like Oracle's going to, because of this little thing that's happening right now, I feel like Oracle's going to be doing some stuff, and then she's going to see Jason, and she's going to be like,
your boy.
We got it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Exactly.
But
so this storyline right now, cool, perfect.
it's real. I love it. It's giving me that darker, because Young Justice, though lighthearted in some areas, when they made the jump to season 2, that's when the story really got dark. They touched on some dark themes in season 1, but season 2, that whole storyline that they were exploring got really serious. And this is giving me season 2 vibes. And the other thing that I wanted to touch on with them milking Damian and Jason, can we talk about how Talia is just dragging Damian around for everything? That whole conversation she had with Jade, and Jade is like, "You brought your baby here?" Damian's good. Damian sees everything. Wherever I go, Damian goes. And I was like, this is why this is the way he is. This is why he is what he is.
It's so funny to me because I feel like while I feel like it's also it's a thing for the fans to be like, look who it is, but it also makes sense from a story standpoint, because Damian is supposed to be after he was born, he's basically designated he's going to be the next head of the League of Shadows. So the fact that she is bringing him everywhere with her makes sense, because they can't take their eyes off him, because if somebody kills him, that's it. So
I wonder if they'll, because we've talked about this before, how Young Justice does change storylines. I wonder what is the future for Damien. Like,
I mean, it's interesting that you put it, because in the second episode of of Phantoms, we found out that Jonathan is on the way as well. We found out that Lois Lane is pregnant, and if you don't know, Jonathan and Damien are best friends. So I really, season 5 of Young Justice might really have me tuned in, because I love the dynamic between them. They are so fun together, because Damon's this like kooky yet somewhat serious Bruce's child, and then Jonathan is like this fun loving, like I can't wait to be Superman kid. Yeah. Like, it's just the dynamic they have is so cool, and if they put them on a team together, and knowing Young Justice, how it plays with light themes and dark themes, I would love to see how they how they grow within the Young Justice world. So
yeah, I guess that's the other thing I like about Young Justice. It's just they integrate so many stories so well, and they always give, like how you were foreshadowing season 5, they always give you a reason to foreshadow more seasons. You were about to say something, Vario?
I was just to let Jay know the Lewis actually did had Jonathan already. Okay, in one of the post-credit scenes, to me.
Was he giving birth? I thought they were playing with that idea.
No, when he was on the moon.
I thought he was
already born.
I know what Vario's talking about.
That's right, because he flew away, because he was like, "Are you going into labor, Lois? Lois,
no,
play with me." And
he was about to shoot them lasers out.
He
was
like, actually was born.
He was like, you remember? He was like, "Is his eyes turning red?" He was like, "Wait, hold on."
That's right. So Jonathan is here, and that's still, regardless, they exist, and to me, that already means that they have characters that they're preparing for later.
Yeah.
So,
like, this could go on forever. Honestly,
I wouldn't be
upset at all.
I would not be upset if they keep writing. If the way they write, if season 4 stays the course, I would not be upset if we get 10 seasons of Young Justice. I would not.
And it would be interesting to see how many storylines they're going to play into. If they, say they do 10 seasons, how many storylines can they keep integrating into this? How many Easter eggs can they keep hiding in all of these
They got
seasons?
they got the whole DC universe. They got a lot they could pull from. So it's interesting. But season 4 so far, I mean, we already touched on it, but if it keeps going the way it has been going, this could probably potentially be like the best one so far, in my opinion. Right. Like, I'm getting, there's so much invested in it already, based on like how it began with Superboy being gone, and then now we have this Bat Family fiasco that's happening with the League of Shadows. Like, there's so much happening right now. I'm very excited to see what all turns up by the end of this, especially since it seems like we're going to be moving through the original team, and seeing what they're all what all they're dealing with as far as like being big names now.
Going to
especially with Aqualad being Aquaman now. That's going to be a big thing too, because everybody, I'll put it like this: all of the heroes as mentors now, like, they don't have, like, Nightwing's not Batman, Artemis is not taking up the Green Arrow mantle, but Aqualad is the only one that's have adopted one of those heavy titles, because he's Aquaman now. So
because Arthur is fully the king of Atlantis now. He's no longer a hero.
Yeah, so when they get to him, it would be interesting to see how he's dealing with that.
I'm wondering something. So, if for those that don't know, Aquaman, I don't know if they mentioned it in the Young Justice show, but in the comics he has a daughter, and Calder is the mentor to her. Like, she becomes his sidekick later on. I'm wondering, will that play into a part, because since we're getting all these, since they're sprinkling all the hero kids in now.
Didn't he have a mentee in season 3? Like, the times that we did see Calder in
the
Atlantis?
Fish dude that like that can make him
was a girl.
bigger.
That was a girl.
Was a girl. I don't remember the beginning of season 3 too much, so I might have to go back and look at that. But if
I
that
don't
is the case,
remember.
that could be his. That could be the Princess of Atlantis. I forget her full name,
Yeah.
but that could be her.
I thought he was mentoring somebody because I remember because it was Garth and then they did a little touch of Lagoon Boy in it, but I want to say it was a girl that he was mentoring as well. But we'll
Oh well,
see.
there was his girl. Well, there not his girlfriend, but there was Aqua Lass, the previous one. I know that. I remember that being a storyline.
Or maybe it was her.
But there is a Arthur. The Princess of Atlantis. It does later on become his sidekick, Calder's sidekick, as his Aquaman title. So it'll be very interesting since we're already getting Jonathan and Damien. If we get to see her as well, and see how he's dealing with that upon losing a friend and stuff. So.
Okay.
When we get to Calder's section of this season, if that's the route they're going, because I think so far that seems to be what they're doing.
Yeah. So we kind of already talked like theories, but if we were to list one major theory that you have for coming up for season 4, I already said it. My theory is I don't think Superboy is dead. We didn't see it. I have 2 theories. One, I feel like maybe the Legion of Superheroes snatched him up real quick, like when the bomb was going off. My second thing is that the guy in the little yellow bubble, whoever he's supposed to be, probably snatched him up too.
Him up either.
Right,
Yeah,
cause he
I'm
put that little
thinking,
bomb on top of the. He put that little thing on top of it. I don't know what
which I
that.
think is what had the kryptonite in it.
Yep.
Oh, the kryptonite. Yeah.
So either one of the two, yeah, either of those. I definitely think. I think I'm more on leaning on the side that the Legion grabbed him. But besides that, I'm theory wise, we're not deep enough to stick. I don't know who the big bad still is. Vandal Savage still seems to be playing a huge part in everything, and I don't think that'll change anytime soon.
I
But
don't know who
I'm
the big bad
interested to
is
see
either.
who. I'm interested to see who this villain of the future is, because I know we haven't been. I know sometimes Brainiac plays a role in being a villain for the Legion, so I'm wondering if that could possibly be tied into all of this. But as far like theory wise, I don't know. It's tough. Other than the Legion thing, I haven't really thought ahead of for this season yet, because right now they're doing very interpersonal stories.
Yep.
And I'm trying to wait and see how this all connects. So I haven't really thought much about the theories wise yet.
Yeah, I haven't thought about who the big bad is either. I'm thinking more so along the sides once everybody's stories start interconnecting. Then, because you remember how season 1 was, where they were fighting like these individual villains, but then it turned out that each one of them were integrated with the light, but they were all separate interactions. So I kind of feel like that may be the route that they're going, that they are dealing with different villains, but all of these villains are interconnected to this one big thing.
Yeah, definitely.
So what about you, Vario? You got a theory?
Don't really have theories right now. I was trying to look up like all the villains that I was trying to see who could that guy be. I was trying looking up all the Legion superhero villains. I don't know who he could be. He's probably someone, not sure, but well, I don't got no theories right now. But I'm sure I probably have some later on, probably next episode.
Yeah.
Just gotta
Get
see how
some
it
more
plays out.
episodes in. Because I only have one, that my boy's not dead. Like, to me, Superboy is too much of a major character for them to just kill off, not even show his death, not even make it a tad bit emotional or drawn out. They didn't even do the anime trope where he talks about his hopes and dreams and stuff and kill
His
them
whole life
all.
flashes before his eyes.
They didn't even do that. And so I just don't think my boy's dead. But what's up, y'all? If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can get more updates from the mob. For the full discussion and more discussions like this one, click the link in the description. Thanks for watching.
Rock with it, let me pop my shit. Let me pop my shit. Hands up.